All right, everybody. You know what time it is. It's Anthony Bowling, and it's chasing gazillions. Not the same as making millions. All right, hanging out with Anthony Bowling. Uh, you all know me, licensed real estate professional with the Anthony Bowling Group. But today we have a special guest. Uh, we are pleased to bring back Valario VJ Johnson, who is the next Ward 7 council member here. And he's, going to answer some questions. But today, everybody, we have a special guest host, Crystal Kemp, who is a Ward 7 resident. And I just met Crystal. I was out talking. She was like, she had all these questions. She was like, hey, this. I was like, hey, you know what? You got a lot of good questions. Why don't you just come on my show and ask the candidate yourself and hear it straight from him? And she was like, word? Come on. And here we are. So before we let Crystal take over my show, and we're going to first hear some background from the candidate.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Valario VJ Johnson, and I'm a candidate for the Ward 7 DC City Council as a Democrat. I'm running to impact you, the Ward 7 resident, the Ward 7 Democrat, by being bigger, better, and bolder. What you can expect from me as your council member is an engaging, responsive, and accountable council member with an office that will respond to you if I don't respond to you first. As I look out here, I see a number of you that I know and a number of you that know me. You know me from the history of the work that I've done, not just here as a Ward 7 Democrat serving as the precinct captain for 111 many years ago, not from being here as an ANC commissioner and serving as a chair, right? Not from being the Hillcrest president and impacting Skyland and giving out scholarships to Ward 7 residents across the board, not just Hillcrest. You know me because I'm capable, I'm competent, and I'm committed to impacting you, the Ward 7 residents, where you are in your neighborhood. You know my story, 2900 block of Minnesota Avenue, Nelson Place, impacting community, organizing young people, and making a difference way before I had a title. My name is Valario VJ Johnson. Thank you for being here.
Well, there you go. There you go, Valerio VJ Johnson. Welcome back to the show, VJ. We're excited that you're here. Before we, bring on Miss Kemp, give us an update about the campaign, what we need to know as residents of Ward 7. Hey, focus us. Tell us.
Well, Anthony, we just had a really powerfully impactful week. We had 3 forums back to back. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had interviews this week. I had a chance to visit my fraternity brother and my family in New Jersey to support the Newark mayor who is running for governor in Jersey. And my family's in Jersey. And I was just excited to be there with blood, kinship, and my fraternity to witness something so transformational in Newark, New Jersey. Look, ballots go out on Monday. So we are excited. We are 37 days away from the last day for you to cast your ballot on June 4th. Tomorrow, we're going to be at Mount Carmel Church celebrating a wonderful event. Look, we are just pressing forward. We're holding our chin high, and we are informing and impacting and transforming not just this race, but those who come in touch with us, those who hear our message, because it touches them in the heart and the mind. And I am growing myself, being
Mm. Everybody, we all didn't freeze.
Yeah, VJ froze.
It looked like VJ froze.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it a few more seconds and hopefully it will come back. Crystal, oh, VJ, okay, he is back. Just
He's
like
back.
that. Just like that. Okay, he froze, but he's back. Okay, great. We missed the last few seconds of that, VJ.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh, you didn't realize you had frozen. You had frozen and went out and came
Yeah.
back in. Well, that's great. I love that seamlessness of the system. You were talking, you froze, the system took you out, and then it brought you right back in. So look, with that, hey, we love that the campaign is going well. I hear on the streets that you are doing exceptionally well, and every day I'm hearing more and more persons saying that the message is cutting through the cacophony of all this other rhetoric and things that are being said, and that you are your message and your vision and your 20 plus years, 2+ decades of service is what is really making a difference in persons thinking about who will lead us and build upon the foundations that have already been laid here. So I'm excited for you. Hey, Crystal,
hey,
come on.
let me just crystallize your point real quick. So we have three things that is separating us. And one is that faith in God. We are leading with God. Two, you're right, that 20-year service record allows me to speak deeply and intently, acknowledging the history and the culture of decisions and why we are where we are today, because the history is why we have our present. And the history is what informs our presence to make decisions about the future, right? And then the third thing you talked about is that our message of making government work for Ward 7 residents by building bridges and connecting people to what they need, those are the three things that are allowing us to do so well in this race, among other things. But I want to make it crystal clear that those are the three things that distinctly separate us from everybody else in the field.
And we're feeling it. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Anthony. Hey, VJ.
Hey,
Thank you for having me over here. I like
yeah.
the fact that you use those crystal words before I get to start asking questions. And everything that was very clear. And your message is very clear. A lot of my friends who live in the ward have been mentioning your name a lot, and they want to know more about VJ and how has VJ changed over the past 20 so years.
Okay.
So quick before I started asking, I met VJ about, I'm aging myself, maybe over 15 to 18 years ago. I don't want to say 20 years ago because that makes me feel really, really young. But I met VJ when I was a very young, eager, almost wanted to be a politician at one point of life. And he introduced me to the wonderful ward of Ward 7. VJ, I was migrating from Capitol Hill and wanted to get into local politics. And VJ was the one who became my mentor. And he taught me about Ward 7. Without the knowledge that VJ gave me, I would not be a homeowner in Ward 7 right now. I am a homeowner of 5 years in the Penn Branch neighborhood, right off of Pennsylvania Avenue, Texas Avenue. And without that introduction that VJ gave me, I wouldn't know about this hidden gem in Southeast. So I am here. First, want to thank VJ for everything that he has given me and all the bridges he has connected for me. We've stayed in contact throughout the years. And when I became a Ward 7 resident again, he would see me walking and beep his horn and say hi. And that is what is great about VJ. No matter where he is at, he is always seen. He is always visible. And before I start asking my first question, VJ helped me and my neighbors in our little block of 38th Street on Carpenter Street. We were having an issue with a group home and the employees, and I was very disgruntled at the gym. And I told VJ, he said, "Hey, give me a call." Gave him a call, and he connected me with the people that have helped mitigate this problem. We're no longer having parking issues. We don't have to worry about the angry group home residents. So on the behalf of the Penn Branch neighborhood, VJ, we want to thank you yet once again, because this is a perfect example of how you have built a bridge and how you connect people. And I know for a fact that as the next Ward 7 council member, you will do that.
Thank you.
All right, great. Already doing it without the title. I mean, man, how much more can we expect from this human being for the residents of this ward, it given the authority of being our representative for all of us? Man, I'm excited. But go ahead, Crystal. It's my show, and don't let me take it over again. Come on,
Anthony. You can always take it over anytime you want. I don't want you to kick me off. I want to come back on in the next 30 some days. So, VJ, my first question about your transformative change: when you look back over your 20 plus years, what do you see the biggest change that you think you've made? I was present for your first run for Ward 7 council member, and I've seen you change. But when you think about it again and you look back, and I see the change in you, I see the change how you answer questions, how you approach residents. But when you think about it, what do you think was the biggest change for you? Has it been that you are Hillcrest president now, and that you've done so many different things there, and that makes you propel, and you know that you can change for the betterment of the ward? Or would you say the change is just your growth as a man and as a father? What do you think the biggest change you have seen?
I think all of those. I think all of those have impacted how I show up and how I respond and how I think about uh, doing what I do. Right. The beautiful thing about being the president of Hillcrest is that before I got the title, I was doing the work of president. I had the privilege of working very closely with State Board President Karen Williams, who also was the president of the Hillcrest Community Civic Association. And prior to being pushed into the role, I was just her communications person. And I figured out a way to hear what the neighbors were saying and to communicate that to her. And we set up all of these platforms to tap into how the neighbors were receiving information. I mean, we probably got 9 different ways to plug into the neighborhood to deliver messages and to hear the concerns. And I started in Hillcrest in a formal leadership role as a committee person in 2015. And then when Karen stepped away and passed, and just kind of was like, well, VJ is already there, right? So I communications director, chaired legislation, I chaired recreation, and then I just became vice president. And then when Karen stepped away and later passed, I just took on the role of president and getting it done. As a dad, man, that has been the most transformative thing ever. I mean, I don't know, right? Like, it's hard to explain. Only like if you're a parent and you experience the birth, and you can see this life, and I got to cut the umbilical cord. I mean, like the experience. I remember when I got the call, right, and it's like my water broke, and I was in Georgia. I probably got to DC in seven hours, right? And I remember spending all that time in the hospital, and they gave me VJ, and we just fell asleep on my chest. I one day I'll share that picture, but I had to do something different, right? I knew that I was responsible, and I knew about how I grew up, and I knew that my presence and my hands-on-ness would be beneficial. So I even took parenting classes, and most people don't know that. I am what they call a pet parent, a parent encouragement program, which is out in Kensington. In fact, I'm back in class now, but I'm working on a certification there so I can teach other parents. Because part of my message and part of the things I want to do as a council member is family stabilization. And it's funny, I was in Lincoln Heights yesterday, and I saw a great grandmother working with a 2-year-old boy named Ramir, and they was just amazed. It's like, how do you know why is he, why are you, and the kid was just responding to me, and I was like, hey man, I'm a dad, but I'm a skilled parent, right? Like I know, that as an adult, as a caretaker, it's your behavior, and it's how the children respond to your behavior that determines their success or failure. So and yeah, just maturity and growth, and having multiple roles and responsibilities. In order for me to be successful, I have to always be mindful of how people experience me, and I have to do the best that I can do. So like how people experience me doesn't doesn't prevent me or make it difficult for me to help other people.
Wonderful.
Great to know that you're a mindful parent, and that you will, as council member, bring those skills right towards 7, because we often see how the children sometimes suffer in this ward because the parents are at work or the grandparents are not available. So that is great that you're mindful in that. VJ, when we think about our next council member, we think about certain qualities. We know you have charisma. We know you're independent. We know you're knowledgeable. When you look at yourself now, right, what are the 3 best qualities, right, that that you bring to Ward 7 as the next Ward 7 council member?
Well, I'm gonna take your word. I like your word, being mindful. Self-awareness is something that I had to develop over the years. Really accepting the responsibility I have for how people experience me. Now, what is in someone else's head or how someone else's behavior is, no, I'm not responsible for that. But there is a responsibility I have to recognize how they are experiencing me. And I can work to mitigate that by not adding insult to injury. And so mindfulness, right? Understanding awareness and conscientiousness. One thing I talked about last night at the National Democratic Women's Club Forum was something that I learned from watching Vincent Gray, and that is empathetic listening. He was a very, very strong listener, and he was able to walk away with everybody feeling like he heard them. And some of the things that he did that I want to continue to practice and develop that same skill is having people know I listen, because you can tell what I do, right? You could tell by what I do that I listen, right? But it's in the moment of you or them or someone communicating their feelings and their ideas and their concerns that they need to know in that moment that I heard them. Like you started off this conversation, I get things done, and I get them done because I'm listening to what people are saying. But I think there's a softer skill for an elected leader or a public person, like a politician, where it's an expectation and a requirement that whether you do anything for someone or not, in that moment, they want to feel that you heard them, that empathetically you connected with them, and that's a soft skill, and that's something I committed to working on. And then again, historical and cultural context for where we are in Ward 7 and how do we go further. Uh, Unlike the rest of the candidates, always acknowledge how I get to be me, how I get to be successful, is because I've sat at the feet of so many of our community leaders over the years and worked and aided them and helped them do what they do, right? And I get the benefit of the knowledge and experience by being a servant to them. So when I hear all these other candidates talk about a lot of these ideas or ideals about crazy stuff that they want to do, I'm like, yeah, that's not doable, right? That's not doable. How about we do the things that work? How about we finish some of the projects that are already in the pipeline that stopped, right? So I always talk about pragmatic things. I always talk about what we can do, what I can do, or what we can do together to get more for the Ward 7 residents. So I guess those are the three things, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who lives who lives not too far from you, VJ, and she knows the work that you've been doing in Hillcrest and all throughout Ward 7. And she wants to keep you in the community. She doesn't want to see you. She's going to vote for you, right? She wants to vote for you, but she wants to know, and I assured her that as a community leader for 20 plus years, your record speaks. You've been making government work for you, but she wanted to know, as a council member, what can she expect from VJ? Is VJ still going to be the person that she knows he is? Is VJ still going to be reachable through IG, through Twitter? Can she knock on his door? Can she go to Hillcrest and catch him there? And a lot of my college buddies, people I went to high school with that live in the ward now, know you. They've seen you around. But as a council member, they're kind of hesitant, right? If VJ becomes the next council member, can we reach him? Crystal, can you vouch? And I say I can vouch and say that he will be reachable, but can we still reach him? And we still know that he is going to guarantee these results that he has been giving us for 20 plus years.
Yeah, here's what's scary. First of all, we jumped into this race January 12th. And part of us taking our time to get here was being deferential to the council member. He wanted time to think about what he was going to do. And he made this announcement December 20th. And then we prayed about it. We went to our stakeholders. We went everywhere in the ward to say, hey, what do you all think about this? And the resounding response was, you can't win if you're not in. So from December 20th to January 12th, what is that, about a month, maybe 3 weeks, we went as far as we can go, building a coalition of support. And everybody kept saying, hey, BJ, you cannot win if you're not in. And if not you, then who? Because we had a bunch of people jump in the race. They don't know. They have ideas and they have some credibility of service here recently, but they can't speak to the fact that Councilmember Chavis recruited them to help. They can't speak to organizing young people in 2008 to testify in front of the chairman, Vincent Gray, to talk about youth programming. They can't talk about strengthening businesses on Minnesota Avenue or being a part of the movement to bring 3 main streets towards. It's just so much more I can talk about. And so people was like, hey, VJ, it's now or never. We know you, we trust you, we've seen you. But also the flip side is there were some loyal supporters of VJ as community man was like, yeah, no, who's going to fight for the community if you go downtown? And I was like, wow, like, yeah, somebody else will step up, right? And, as I started to think more about me downtown as a council member, we got 9 other people who say they're going to be great leaders for Ward 7. You don't have a one VJ community, man. You have 9 other people uh, professing to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. So let them carry the torch. Instead of one torch from VJ, you got 9 torches from everybody else. Education person, a housing person, a farming person, a gun violence and restorative justice person. Like all these people are tagged as single issue persons with great ideas, and they need to labor in the vineyard a little bit longer and establish and improve themselves. But one person in River Terrace who I respect, she has been an educator in River Terrace, taught 2, almost 3 generations of children in River Terrace. And I said, look, you got to free me up now. You got to allow me to grow and evolve into what we need right now, right? We don't have Councilmember Gray. And if we're not careful, we may get the wrong person in office who don't have any connection to us, who don't know the history. And frankly, I think some of these people don't even care about the history. I think they just care about when they showed up, and that power and authority and influence going into the wrong hands. Man, we cannot afford in Ward 7 not to get our blessings. We cannot afford to stop and start all over again. There's about 5 projects we need to get done to grow our economic development community, our business community, our civic infrastructure. There's so much more that needs to be done. So yes, there's going to be some changes. Will I be as available as I have been over the years when I was the community man? Honestly, maybe not so. But what is true, right? Because I don't know the demands of a council member, right? I just know I got to go downtown. But what people can know is that, like you, Crystal, we reconnected when you were walking up and down Pennsylvania Avenue and Branch Avenue, and I saw you in the gym. You'll see me at the Starbucks. You'll see me at the Safeway. I'll be in Lincoln Heights. I'll be at the pool in Kenilworth. I'll be at the pool at Eastern Market, right? I mean, look, my life will change, right? But not my mindset, not my values, not my connections to the people of Ward 7.
Got it. That's a great question. And one more question, my girlfriend gave me. She wanted to know, when she moved here a little bit before me, like 10 years ago, we used to have a constituents office on Pennsylvania Avenue. And she says, I know VJ keeps his roots in Ward 7, right? We know he's going to be in the Wilson building, but will VJ have a constituent office building? I'm in Ward 7, and will that office be what it used to be, where you can pop in and leave a note and say, hey, I'm having an issue here? So she wanted to know, VJ, will you have a present office in Ward 7 where people can just stop by? We know that it is a technology age, but people want to be able to drop by our office and say, hey, VJ, I'm having this issue, my trash isn't getting picked up. What are your thoughts on having somewhere local in Ward 7 where people can drop by and and talk to your staff and voice their concerns?
So yes, right? So yes, as a council member, as a freshman council member, I have 2 years in that first period of my 4-year term, no committee responsibility. So what that does is it frees me up to use the office's influence and authority and power, and a 5 or 6 person staff to do more around engagement and responsiveness and constituent services. Yes, I am a proponent of having office hours, if not a physical constituent service office in the ward. Many years ago, before we had all this development, before we had all these new spaces and new opportunities, Councilmember Gray had an office on Nally Helen Burroughs Avenue. And he kept local office hours, and his constituent service person would show up there 2-3 times a week.
Mhm.
Now, let's talk about what we're doing on this campaign with technology and innovation. There isn't a person in Ward 7 that cannot find out where I am or connect with me or touch me. And we have enhanced my ability to be connected with technology from all of these tools, from Linktree, from the website, from having my number, having a mobile number, having a mobile phone, to emails, to an active schedule where you can go to the website and push mobilize and sign up, and mobilize will tell you where I'll be next, right? And so if VJ, without technology, without the power of influence and authority of the council office, is most known for being available and responsive in community, what more can I do with the power, influence, and authority of the council, with 5 or 6 paid staff people, with innovative technology? You don't have to worry about me disappearing downtown. You just got to know I'll be downtown doing the good work in the day, and I'll be in the ward in the evening, if not me, the staff, right? We don't have to worry about that. The roots are so strong and the connections are so deep that VJ will not get lost at the Wilson Building.
That's great to know that Valario V stands for visibility. Like, we want you to stay.
We're still in that, okay?
We're still in that, right? We're still in that. And my final question, because I know you're a very busy man, but I don't want to hold you up. So in my neighborhood, I see a lot of gentrification happening, right? And I see a lot of, people moving into the neighborhood that don't want to give back to the community. They don't want to, answer their doors. They don't want to, talk to us when we have issues. When you think about you being a Ward 7 council member, how can you right? How can you blend those two different communities? We have, the people who know what Ward 7 has been in the history behind, but we have the newer people, right? Who are moving into the ward and who don't want to give back. And I'm very interested in hearing how you will propel that new Ward 7 philosophy about how we blend the communities, because as you stated, Councilmember Gray is retiring and he no longer will be there, and we'll have a brand new face, and it will be your face. So how will you blend the old and the new together?
Yeah, so I'm not a brand new face, but I'll be in a brand new place, right? And we struggle with that in Hillcrest. There's transitioning in Hillcrest. As the president of the Hillcrest Community Civic Association, we always talk about that difficulty between the established and the new. And it is different mindsets. But you know what? I have submitted myself to understanding what is different between a person who bought a house at $80,000 and invested in growing the community to be what it is now, and the person who bought a similar house at $900,000 last year. And the person who bought a house at $900,000 is coming with a level of expectation, and the person who bought the house next door at $80,000 40 years ago is coming with an understanding. So we have to help people understand, hey, your $900,000 house was because this person with the $80,000 house, 30 years, made it possible for you to have that $900,000 house. There's a community of people that made it possible for you to move next door to the only drive-through Starbucks in the District of Columbia. So let's not show up and say, oh, more needs to be done. This is not enough. No, it is. It's a lot. So together with that in the foundation, it could be more explosive, right? But what we've accepted that, and we've tagged the new residents as information seekers, and I think Hillcrest may be one of the first, if not only, civic associations to go from in-person meetings with 80 to 100 people into a virtual space and then out into a hybrid space where we still allow to have our established community come in person and then give virtual opportunities to new families, moms, uh, uh, people with demanding careers. We do so much with our newsletter. We are allowing technology to work. Like I said earlier, we probably have about 9 different ways to gather information and to deliver information. If I could think out loud, we have several group me accounts for men and women, and we have a wives club on Facebook. We have a Hillcrest neighbors group on Facebook. We have Nextdoor. We have the Google listserv. We have the newsletter. We have Member Planet. What's that, 8? And then the most important one of all is how we talk to each other on the street and on our porches, right? Which is and then the phone tree, right? So in person, as we're walking our dogs, as we're doing our walks, as we're going to our assets in our neighborhood, we connect with each other in real time in person, and then we just talk on the phone to each other all the time. So Hillcrest is a very concise, cohesive community despite its diversity. And so being a Hillcrest president, being in Hillcrest, learning how Hillcrest has been able to be successful at moving its community forward over these years is what I'm allowed to do downtown for all the other communities. And I want people to be excited that I have that knowledge more so than anyone else on how to transform communities and be cohesive across the board.
I mean, that's exciting. All of those non-communicative ways is very exciting, because my community doesn't have all those ways. So I'm very excited as a council member that you'll still be reachable, in the group meets, on the next doors, you're on a listserv, that you are still very visible, Valario, and you bring that to the forefront.
Hey, Krista, just think about when I came to Penn Branch. Was that last week? People came out. It was like, VJ's here. People came out, right? The president of the Penn Branch Community Association came out. Neighbors came out, right? People were walking their dog. And I don't live in Penn Branch, but it's almost like, who didn't I know in Penn Branch? Or who didn't know me in Penn Branch, right? But that's what it is across the board. I was in Lincoln Heights yesterday. And I one lady was like, "Are you related to such and such?" I said, "Oh yeah." And she knew. She was like, "Yeah, your family's from High Street." Yeah. In Ward 8. Yeah. And then she was like, "Your uncle used to DJ at the Panorama Room, right?" Yeah. That's me. That's my and these were old
celebrity. Not only are you a community servant, you're a local celebrity. You have roots in DC. So if I need a DJ, we can get VJ, right, Anthony?
That's right.
No, I'm not the DJ.
Not meet and greet, right? Or are you DJing in the meet and greet, or are you?
No. My uncle was the DJ, and I don't brag about being a native Washingtonian. I just tell my stories, and I am, right? I mean, look, there's some pretty great people in this race. They have some really phenomenal issues, singular issues, but we can leave them in the oven a little bit longer, so they could be more done, right, more well done, so they can lead the future of the war. I think my 1 term or maybe 2 terms max is necessary to transition us from the old to the new. We don't need to cut it off and throw the baby out with the bathwater. We often talk about understanding the baby booming generation and the millennials and the Zs, but I'm Gen X, right? I am the middle my generation is the middle. We're the smallest generation, but we are the generation who suffers the most with taking care of our parents and our grandparents and our children while trying to provide a middle class lifestyle. And oftentimes there aren't any programs or services that work for us because we fall right in the middle. We're educated, we got the decent jobs with decent salary and decent benefits, but we have our family responsibility, our children, and then we have our parents. And sometimes we get squeezed out. Sometimes people forget about us, but we are holding it together. And that's what you got to know about VJ as a council member. And that's why he's the bridge, right? The bridge. It's the newsletter, it's the imaging, right? It's building bridges and connecting people to what they need. And that's what God has empowered me to become over 20 years of selfless service to Ward 7. Yeah.
I would like to commend you for being, for staying in Ward 7. A man with accolades who have experienced the lows, as a youth, and still being willing and able, right, to get back to his community and being that steward, but most importantly, being a role model. I would like to thank you for this time you've had with me. I would not be the woman I am today, right? Although I am not in the political space, I am an IT professional now, but the skills that VJ taught me as a young, eager, sometimes sassy young lady, he helped mold me right to the IT professional I am here. And VJ, I just want to thank you, as I always do, from the bottom of my heart, for everything you have given to me, on behalf of the community, everything you continuously give to us.
Krista, I thank you. And, we grow in relationship with each other. And if we submit and yield to how other people can impact us to be better people, we grow exponentially. So every relationship is important. Every person's interaction is important, even the bad ones. Even when you make a mistake, even when you don't respond appropriately, even when you respond inappropriately. There are lessons to be learned, and there's opportunity for reconciliation and forgiveness and growth, which is why on our material it says hashtag building better bridges. Because I do recognize that a young, fiery activist me was hard charging and demanding. But, as a council member, we got time and we have sophistication and we have experience to approach things differently. And I believe everybody in Ward 7, they walk up to me and they just have something to offer. And they just want me to receive that so I can be a better person and a better leader for the ward.
Well, thank you. VJ, tell the people where they can find you. Let them know how to find you, and how they can send you a message. We know you are available on all social networks, but just give them one little tidbit again about how to find VJ.
Well, we're going to promote this engaging website. I love this website. If anybody wants to know, you look at any other council members or any other candidate's website, it's not as engaging or attractive or dope as VJforward7.com. VJ, FORWARD7.com. No, it could pop up here soon. Look, we have QR codes on everything, right? There you go. So these QR codes on the T-shirts, on the billboards, on the yard signs, right, allows you to use your camera and it will populate for you. You don't have to do anything but open your camera up and point to it, and it just populates. My link tree, my Popl, everything is tied into directing you to having more information. The videos are on the website, the newsletters are on the website, where I'm going to be and your ability to register to be where I'm going to be, the technology to mobilize that allows you to be reminded of future events. Man, listen, VJforward7.com, VJFORWARD7.com. And I'll close out with this. One person was like, I'm the only person that gives you my personal cell phone. You can call me between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Hey, listen, that's great. But if you go to my website, you can see real-time communications. This right now is being live streamed on our YouTube channel, which then will be uploaded to the website. Hey, I'm available. I'm gonna walk out here and I'm gonna be in River Terrace. I'm available, right? You'll see me at the grocery store. You'll see me at Planet Fitness. I'm available, right? And, you know, my number is out there, right? 202-643-6078. My email address is out there. You can find me anywhere, right? So let's just do the good work for the people of Ward 7. And let's just keep moving this train forward. Let's build upon the foundation that future generations have given us. Let's continue to grow and move our ward towards enhanced quality of life and prosperity.
Everybody, that's Valerio VJ Johnson, our next Ward 7 council member. We want to thank him for the time that he has shared with us. We want to thank him for the insight. You can go right here. You can click on to the QR code right now. Just put your camera and scan it right there. It's going to take you to his donation page. It's going to take you to his website. It's going to take you all that information so you can find out where he's at in the ward. Also, everyone, I want to give a special thanks to our special guest host here, Crystal Kemp. Fantastic job, dear. You are welcome to come here and be on Chasing Gazillions. Not the same as Making Millions. Anytime you like, dear. I love the way you handle the questions. And I was just sitting here like any other resident here, just taking it all in and just enjoying listening and experiencing VJ. It was just so transparent and just so real. I want to thank you both for coming on the show, everyone. Hey, you mentioned something about voting. Close out, VJ. Tell everybody about when they can expect their ballots and what they should be doing.
Monday, you can go to the Board of Elections website. Let me give that to you right now because I think also our campaign is the only campaign that's delivering the accurate information. I've seen a number of informational pieces from other candidates, and they have incorrect information on their material. So the Board of Elections website is dcboe.org, dcboe.org. And we're going to send out our voter guide. And what it tells you is that June 4th is the primary election day for in-person voting. And we're only going to have 9 precincts, okay?
So June 4th is the last day?
June 4th is the last day.
So what's the first day?
The first day of in-person voting is May 26th. And then May 27th is Memorial Day, so there won't be in-person voting. And then May 28th to June 2nd will be in-person early voting, right? But when you get your your ballot mailed to you this week, because the Board of Election is going to send it out on April 29th, which is Monday, you can do a mailbox drop May 10th all the way through June 4th, right? So the Board of Elections is going to put these mailboxes out for you to receive your ballot. And where we are, it's going to be at Penn Branch Station, Penn Branch Shopping Center. So there's no excuse for us not to turn out a lot of people. There's no excuse for people not to participate and do their civic duty. And while you got 10 reasons to vote, you only know that one of those 10 reasons will deliver you a prosperous Ward 7 that will enhance your quality of life and transitioning you into the future. And that vote, that choice is Valario VJ Johnson. And we know victory, we know V stands for victory, but now we also know that V stands for visibility. So we look forward to seeing you all in the streets.
And on that ballot, what number are you?
Oh, 4. And ironically, we have been all about 4, right? More for Ward 7, right? So the 4 is where we're going to be, and it's a nice placement. It's not number 1 or number 2, but it doesn't matter because we're not in the marathon. We're not in the race. We don't need to be 1 or 2 on the ballot. We need to be 4, Ward 7. And you just need to notice that Valario VJ Johnson II sticks out perfectly at the top half of the ballot. You cannot miss the name.
Fantastic. Everyone, again, Valario VJ Johnson, your next Ward 7 council member. Thank you again for coming on to the show. We look forward to hearing from you in the future. Crystal, all the best to you, dear. You are welcome here again to come on to the show. And for you all out here, share the information, share the video, like us, subscribe to the Anthony Bowling Group channel to get more information like what we brought to you here tonight. If you like what you heard, then vote for VJ early. I won't say often because you only get 1 vote, but early.
Yeah.
And we will see you all again on our next show. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, this was good. Thank you all. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.